Hey, what is going on, you guys? Thought I would just do a quick Friday night live. The kids are out hanging out with their friends, doing a little sleepover. I'm sitting down here in the second office as I'm working on some things, trying to get caught up. And so I thought I'd open it up. I was just chatting with John Martin via text message about he was showing me an event going on in Kalamazoo area in February, like a winter crawl. And then I thought we were talking about it, and I know he's into like the oval racing and all that. And so we started talking about Losi, and I started asking him if he thought that Losi was going to be releasing a new midget or sprint car or anything like that, because their Instagram made it kind of feel like there might be a V2 coming of their sprint car or something as a slider of some sort. So definitely curious if they've got anything planned, but they kind of are hinting at it. They just wrapped a midget that's taking place, I think, at the Chili Bowl or whatever. So yeah, anyway, what's going on, CSL, Lauren, good evening, Whiskey Runner 1, Cindy Jernigan, Josh Props, what's up? Quick question, Cindy. Yeah, shoot, that's what this is all about. I'm sitting here bagging bearings. So tons of bearings. My first batch that we've already have bagged up is about gone. So I've just got it laid out here. My son was helping earlier. And so we just have, can I show it? Will it show? No. A sheet of paper here that just shows like how many of each one. And they're all just kind of laid out. And yeah, nothing super fancy. It just, I don't know if you guys even saw that. I couldn't see the camera, so I just turned the iPad all the way down and hope you guys could see stuff. But just trying to put them into baggies so we can get them ready to go out. Yeah, on a Friday live, I used to do more Red Just Pop On, but haven't in a little while. North Rock, Brian, what's going on? On my SCX24 Gladiator, my steering keeps jittering. And I think it's my ESC. Why do you think it's your ESC and not your servo? It's very possible that your servo is gone. That's what I would probably lean toward, but I mean, I don't know exactly, but those servos go out, which is why we sell servos and have them on hand all the time. Because I replaced my servo and it's still jittering. So then you might be right. It might be. And it smelled like it burned. All right. Cindy, because I replaced it. Lee has something else. Lee, hey, how's it going, Lee? You're the 24 scale axial Jeep. That's cool, man. As you can see, I got these branding things on I don't need on. This isn't to talk your face off. We can turn them off. Hold on one second here. It's covering up. I mean, what if I just change branding? Did I get rid of them? Oh, now I got the CCxRC one on it. Why do we got to brand everything? So brand it out. There we go. I don't mind hanging some of them. Well, those are just the TRX4s and the I got a mini monster truck and the rock van. So the TRX4 also will hang the Element 24 scale, and it'll hang those mini monster trucks that have the Element or RGT axles I found out. So I'm going to start hanging them on there as well. I just now found that out. Back to the comments. The ESCs, if it's a V2, if it's a Gladiator, it's definitely a V2. I've had 3 of those ESCs burn up, smelling and everything. There's a little burn mark on the underside of the ESC board that you can see. And so it's very possible also that it's the ESC since it's a V2. The V2 are my favorite of the ESCs, but I have had, and I have a lot. I mean, I have over 20 of the minis. So Yeah, and one of them was my fault. I plugged in the battery into the motor port, so that was my fault on that one. But I actually only had one of them burn up on my own. I traded somebody one for one that was burned up. I was like, whatever, like it's fine. And then I plugged in one that was burned up. So I have 3 of them that are bad, but I only technically had one go while I was running it, and that was the first run out of the box. Plugged it in, and it smoked right from the go. And so, yeah. The second one, actually, Jeff Brown is in here. I traded with him for my son to do the Jurassic Park build, and we thought something was wrong with it, and there wasn't until I plugged the battery into the, into the motor lead. That was good. That was good because we figured out that it was working, and then I went to set it all back up, and yeah. Anyway, I smoked that one myself. That's dumb. What's going on, David Ferris? A King says hello. I haven't done the King in a while. It's been a bit since I've done my southern accent, but maybe need to pull out one here soon. But I've been too busy to think of things as the King. I'm just trying to play catch up on everything. But we'll get some kind of funnies out here soon because it enrages some people too, which is funny for me. So because they can't believe it's real. They think it's real. So for new people watching the channel, it definitely is a trip. Those comments are the best. Hey, Jeremy Kilburn, what's up? So yes, I am going, a news flash. I'm going to USTE in February, mid-February. So I'm excited about that. So that's late breaking news. And then the question marks about what's going on with Losi and a midget car or sprint car definitely have me intrigued as well. So, but we're just bagging up bearings. Thought we'd take some questions, talk about a few things. USTE, I'm so excited to be going again. First time and only time I've been is right in the middle when COVID was going on. It was one of the few things. Florida was open. And we went there. We went to Universal Studios, and we had a really good time. It was really also a really tough time because my brother had just gotten put into the hospital, unknown what was going on, and like, do we turn and go north? But it was during COVID, and Michigan was so locked down that we couldn't go in and do anything in the hospitals, or, I mean, you just felt like helpless, like you couldn't do anything. And so it was also very hard time being down there and having a lot of questions. So hopefully this time things will be a little bit more clear in my head when we're there, and hanging out will be a little easier. All right, missed some comments. What's up, Matt Harris? How's it going? Johnny Davis. Johnny Davis says his wife now calls herself RC Sugar Mama. I love it. I'm definitely in that RC Sugar Mama realm right now with not having that part-time work I was doing for video stuff. The other half of my paychecks every month was outside of YouTube, was from that, because YouTube don't pay squat. I'll tell you that. All the kids wanted to do it as a career. You have to be somebody. You have to be really into it to make enough to go that route, or have something else to supplement it. That's why it's just been a side thing for me, and then eventually became part-time enough that I could consider it. But yeah, so RC Sugar Mama right now. Cindy, yeah, I would try to get one. I don't know how old yours is. If you contact them about a replacement, even if you get a replacement through them, I would advise probably just getting one on order. They're hard to get. They're out of stock a lot. So having one as a backup either way is not bad. So if you buy one and they still are willing to do like a trade-in for you for the one that went bad, when you get that new one, just keep it as a spare. So yeah, watch it. All of these ones that I'm doing here, I'm packaging, are going to be like missing bearings and stuff, I'm going to blame all you guys when it happens. When I get the email, I'll be like, I was doing a live stream and, luckily it's pretty easy to count off 4s and 2s and see them when they go in and just go down the line that I've set up here. Doing things in an efficient manner definitely help reduce the ability to make mistakes, even when you're doing something else at the same time. So, Jeremy, are you going to USCE? Are you still in here? John Schaefer, I see that you're out and about at a lot of events. Any recommendations on getting my town to create a public crawling course? Everything that I go to is private, so I don't know about getting a town to do it. There's a lot of upkeep that goes into it. And so if you just bail on your town, then they've got an eyesore. So somehow you got to convince them that you building it isn't going to create an eyesore for them and is going to continue to get used and taken care of. And I don't know how you do that. So yeah, or they have to be willing to help maintain it. So that's the hard part. If you have BMX trails and things like that, they do. Maybe it depends. The crawling one is, I think, more problematic because I see crawling as creating wood structures and rocks and things that get weeds coming out of them and are just a pain in the butt. You can't just mow it easily. So it could be more problematic than even, say, jumping trails and stuff like that. So not to be a downer, but they take a lot of work to maintain. I just crushed that bag. I don't know how many more to keep doing. I've got more stuff finally hitting the mail coming in for the TRX4M that I ordered a long time ago. The second the TRX4M came out and I had one, day one, I knew that it was going to be a really cool platform and solid in its Traxxas, so it's going to be around. And so as soon as we could get our hands on it and see what things we wanted, I started ordering and making parts, so designing and all that. And so some of them have taken longer than I like to get my hands on, considering other people are already getting theirs, weeks in advance. But it is what it is. They're on their way. They're in the mail, and I believe they're in the mail. Something came in the mail. Some products, that are more SCX24 stuff. I have real reserve and all that. There's a constant trying to keep things stocked, but not. I've only got so much money to put into inventory at times, and trying to balance all that out. It's been crazy interesting because that's not my headspace that I normally live in. I'm more in the creative realm, so all of this scheduling's I think I'm the worst at calendars and all that kind of stuff. I'm not super organized in that kind of a way, but when I do things like this where I'm sorting and all that, I definitely like to get myself running so that things are very, very organized for myself. 8 by 12. So yeah, I'm not seeing any new comments, so I don't know if there are more comments going, or if this is just stopped showing them. The last one I see is about 7 minutes ago. But have you guys been doing anything new with yours? I might have to get my phone out and see if I'm missing a bunch of comments. Or computer, I guess. Or if I'm even still live. I've been having so many internet issues. Somebody drop a comment if you're watching. Let me know if comments are happening, and then I'll see it show up. Oh, there's a ton of comments. Why in the heck is it not showing me comments? Okay, dang, I'm way behind. All right. Hi, can I get advice on batteries and chargers for Kyosho Mad Van? Brushed or brushless? It just says brush, please. Actually, what's this charger I have right here? The Mars Dual. I don't know if you need a dual or a single, but this Gen's Ace right here, everything's, I got all my charging stuff set up on a shelf here. This Gen's Ace is an awesome little charger since you're going to be dealing with, I think those on that are the XT60 plugs. If so, they're direct in, but it also comes with all the adapters to the different plugs that you could ever want to put into it. So it's a little bit pricey because it is a dual charger. They sell a single charger one as well. But Gen Z stuff is straight up legit and works well. You're dealing with name brand stuff there, and it's quality. So I mainly do Spectrum stuff, but that's my charger I use for everything. Like I can do my Spectrum stuff on there, or I can do it on the Gen Z, so, or on the Spectrum charger. So that's the one whenever I have to do other batteries that aren't my smart batteries, I do on that. So, and then batteries, Gen Z makes great batteries too. There's something I look at. I tend to buy name brand batteries. I know a lot of people buy the Amazon ones and they're very happy with them. It's just not something I've ever done. So I usually buy them at my hobby shop. I pay a little more for them, $10 more, $15 more per battery. But I know I'm getting a name brand. I know I'm getting warranty. Hopefully I'm not getting lipo fires. But yeah, most of them I don't have ballooning and issues with, and I've been very happy with. Wonder why I'm not getting comments on here. It'd be way easier if they were populating in here. I'm tempted to hit the refresh button on the screen and see what happens. I'm going to do it. I'll be back in just a second because it's probably going to kick me out. Oh, heck yeah, that's way better. I still am going to have to catch up. I'll do it here off of my phone because reaching up into there is going to be bad. So, dang, I missed a lot of comments. I thought the last one that I saw was from Jeremy Kilburn, and that was like 7 minutes before I realized they weren't working. Daniel McMaster just bought a Kronos 2022 XTR. Isn't it rad? Have you run it already? It's stinking rad. It is plush. Drawing comparisons is it's very similar handling to the Creighton, I would say. The difference is that I have like a really killer setup in this one because I had to buy my own electronics, and so like I had that Castle Mamba Monster X 8S system, and then that Holmes Hobby Puller Pro, and that thing it's beast. Even on 4S, it's pretty awesome. So yeah. Dang, I missed some. Holy cow, I jumped way down. All right, hello from Corny, New York. Joe Spicer, Lee Krug. I want a minivan body for mine. Minivan body would be awesome. There is this Astro van for sale, just around the corner. I don't know where the camera is on this thing. Where should I be looking? I should be looking here. Does it look like I'm looking at you now? I feel like I'm just always looking up. So I think it's there's where I'm supposed to look. But there's an Astro van and I want to buy it so bad. It's like a light blue. Anyway, the 50,000 subscriber giveaway is already in the hands of the winner, and he's up near Sheboygan, Michigan. Crazy that was a Michigan guy. When we saw the ski, I said he's either in Poland or Michigan, and I was right. He was in Michigan. Jeff Walter, hi, where did I get that Hobby Plus C18 van? I got it from Fair RC. And if you want to get one from Fair RC, you got to do it soon because Chinese New Year's about to hit and there won't be anything shipping for weeks. So if you want to get it, it ships from China. It takes a couple weeks to get here. But if you don't order it before Chinese New Year, which is on the 23rd, I think is when it starts, somewhere around there, 20 something, their shipping will be a long time. So I'm even trying to get any of my products I need to restock my shelves. I'm trying to get on the shelves now or on order now, because if I don't get them shipped before the 23rd, it's going to be a while before I can have them in stock for people again. Speaking of, I'm doing these bearings. I need to get more SCX24 bearings ordered. But yeah. Matt Harris, what do you think about the J Concepts Renegades 124th? I think they're amazing. If I were to buy the monster truck tires right now for it, I would get those again. They're really good. Cindy Jernigan, what's the best RC off Amazon? I would probably get best RC. I would probably just order a straight up like Arma Creighton off of even off of Amazon. You can get them on there. You can get an X-Max on Amazon. Like, you can get good stuff. Amazon brand ones, it all depends what you're looking to get. If you want it to be a basher or a crawler or whatever, it's hard to say. Like the Fire Horse is a really good little FMS you can get in the mini scale stuff. But I everything I'm doing right now, for the most part, I'm loving it the most is in the mini world. So that's what I'm buying. And yeah, I'm trying to, other than some of them like Hobby Plus, which I've worked with Hobby Plus for a long time. In fact, some of the guys where I found out about Hobby Plus was I used to like the V-Car stuff, V-Car Bison, and some of those guys went to Hobby Plus that were designing that stuff. And so we got some of the early 18 scale from them, and it's all been good stuff. The thing is, there's not a lot of aftermarket for them. That's the one downside. You can get motors because motors swap in pretty easy, but as far as links or things like that, other than making custom ones out of rod, you're pretty limited. However, I'm in talks. I want to try and get some stuff for these CR18Ps made, some links and different things, maybe some brass diff covers and the sorts, because I really think this is a pretty solid platform. However, and this is going to rattle some feathers, I still think the SCX24 is the platform right now. Like, we go anywhere. I just went up to Ludington, and the people, when they're comping, are comping the SCX24s. So unless your town is like all Traxxas only and that's all they've ever had, and they just built a course to run these new ones on within the last 2 months because they just started having them, most people have everything set up to run SCX24. And the hard thing is, you can't just, Traxxas went and did something that just is aggravating because it's very Traxxas of them. And they just built something that was their own and not fitting in nicely with the rest of the market. And because of that, either we widen our gates for them, which is still going to be a detriment to anybody running the TRX 4M because it's now that much wider for us skinny little SCX24s to get through. Yeah, or you leave them tight and they hit more gates. It's really, or they got to just do a whole different comp, which means setting up different gates. If they want to run it the same night, they've got to have a different gate set up somewhere for them and track a course for them to run, or just do it a different night. It's frustrating. It is what it is. But where we're going, I mean, everything I'm seeing is still mainly set up for the SCX24. And so if you want to aftermarket the CR18P, like, it doesn't make sense because nobody's really comping that scale yet. And so I'm kind of torn. Do I do the upgrades because I want them for them, because I want to comp them, or what, and even if I do, I mean, you have to order base amounts that are, pretty big quantities. So then am I going to sell them enough to make it worth it? So those are the things in my mind I have to address. But yeah. Hey Tony, Metal RC, our local hobby shop is going out in a crawler course for 1/24th. Do you sell to dealers? It's going to put in a crawler course. Do I sell to dealers? I do. In fact, yeah, I've got a couple I have to call back. 1 million views only gets you 5,000 pay from YouTube. That's a lot of low view videos. Yeah. That's about right as far as numbers go. Yeah. Yep. Dirk, what's going on, man? All right, trying to catch up. I'm gonna just skip. If you had a question you really wanted answered, repost it. Because of me missing those early ones, I'm gonna just scroll down and see. Am I a veteran? I am not. Durham reality. I wish I would have served in hindsight, but I didn't. I was trying to be a rock star back then. Sitting Jerrigan, how do I get max flex on an SCX24 to everyone? Watch Cape Crawlers and start removing the most. If you get the metal links, only put on one of the rubber O-rings so that it has more room to flex. And then also make sure your shocks, when you put them on, are spaced off the chassis so that they have room to move, and you'll have it. You may not want it when you actually get out and start like crawling, but if you want to do it for pictures and stuff, that's how you do it. Chronos XTR thoughts. I've only driven it once. I'm still waiting on my 6S to come in. So yes. Jeff Brown House 124 sled pulling rules coming along. They're not on paper. I'm just now getting into anything RC related after the whole day's been busy. Haha, we're here. Check your phone. See how far behind I am? Oh gosh, I'm behind. It just loaded a ton. David Ferris, I love my iMars Dual. Finally installing my CCxRC bearing kit. Frank Noggle. I just got Crowley and that charger at my local hobby shop. And he's Daniel McMaster, you're copying me. You're copying me. That's what's happening. All right. So I'm going to try and find him here so I can tag him. Crooked Mitten shirt. I see you. How's it going, Tank? And Tank, I just saw the post on the YouTube swearing thing. I had not seen that they actually were demonetizing. Before, you just say that there was, but it was kind of like very much if it happens in the first 7 seconds of your video, where it's just like overly abundant throughout. But yeah, I think you're safe. Otherwise, those guys totally torched your live stream. Holy cow, am I behind? Okay, here we are. Daniel McMaster. Very cool. Yeah, so I have a 6S coming. I can't wait to roll that in it. Durham Realty, Losis, Traxxas, we'll just say it that way. Mark Johnson, any thought of 3D printing sliders to stock frame SCX24? There's people doing it already. And so I would just say go get theirs. I don't need to reinvent that wheel, I don't believe. Also, another update. I saw somebody, speaking of 124 scale pulling, I talked to JS Chassis Works about their chassis to see if they were going to be selling them, whatever. They are actually having now a deal with Hack Fab RC, who's already doing the 10 scale ones that JS Chassis Works had designed. And so it's going to be going through them. And I asked them, I reached out then to HackFab, and I don't know if they want me disclosing all this or not, so I'll keep it very, I won't say a whole lot about it, but they're getting into cutting some of like a test one to make sure the machines and the files are set up right for everything to fit so they can get a test on it. So 1/24th pullers, I'm not going to be the only one doing it soon, and that's cool. Because if there wasn't, I was going to try to work out something to find a way to make them and do it, but I don't have to do that because, again, I don't need to reinvent the wheel if it's going to be coming to market, because it's super fun and it's really cool. Like I'm having a blast with it, and so we're going to get more of that going here soon. Johnny Davis also gets, how do I know what size rim to buy for my SCX24 tire? 1-inch rims. There's a ton of them. Endura, Trio, NHX, Power Hobby, Maz Designs has some really cool custom ones he makes. So Mofo has some really cool ones. In fact, I've got him here. He's got a bunch of different type of dishes and like rings for him. So those are cool. What's the best parts for the SCX24 Gladiator? The Mighty Chihuahua, the Baby Hippos, Baby Goliath, all those I think are probably the best ones out on the market right now. But no, there's so many great parts, you guys. For the Gladiator, some of the best things are to take off all the roof rack stuff that they have on there, get rid of the tent topper. You can leave the little side things on. That tent topper adds a lot of weight, and then get some weight down low. Brass diff covers are huge. I like to do the double barrel shocks on them, but then take off the springs and put the stock springs on. So take apart the stock shock, unscrew the bottom cap, take that spring off, put that on. So it'll, even when it's sitting, it'll sit down, but when you are going over things, it'll flex. So that's the other thing you have to do for flex is shocks. Is the Astro 4-wheel drive though? I don't know. I need to look. Matthew Copeland, Hunter's on the way from CCxRC, good company to deal with. I've had pretty good luck with them. I ordered, they don't just only send me stuff. Like I bought the MS Max Smasher from them, got that. I got the FMS motors from them. It takes a couple weeks. It's coming from China. It's a long way away. The fact that we can even get it from them in that amount of time is pretty insane to me. Dan McMaster, do you think One Fiscal Arma or Mojave new models are coming? I don't know. I don't have an in with Horizon Hobby like I used to. And even if I did, I can't say or even allude to it. But I can say I have not heard anything about any of that. They're also getting a lot better about tightening up on that stuff. So like that new drag car came out, but so the influencers didn't even get them until the day that they announced it, so that there was no accidental slip ups. So yeah. And Jordan announced the cutoff is the 16th. What is today? It is the 13th. I think CCxRC said something too on one of their live streams. Tips on the best parts. Sorry, we already did that. For the most part, get an aftermarket servo. I like to get, so here's like my order of parts. Anything I'm building. In fact, I've got a Maz Designs we're going to build. I have to first I'm behind on this. Before I do that, I have the new carbon fiber chassis from Furatech for the TRX 4M. That's the next thing I have to do. I have to tear apart my TRX 4M to do a video for them showing it with that chassis, which gives a whole lot more shock options. I saw the Mini RC shop or Mini Shop RC was questioning why they had these cut-ins and they didn't have some holes there. All of that, I've talked to them, is for the bodies to fit because they wanted you to be able to do the stock bodies that snap in. And so they cut their chassis to allow that to happen. That's the reason that the shape is what it is, and that there's those cut-ins there where he wanted to place his shocks. I also get that you can't line all those areas with them because it's going to make it weak. So you've got to have some parts, especially in a bend like that, where if you tumble, it's not just going to snap. So, yes. Jeff Brown, forget Amazon. Check your local hobby shop. That's the best bet if they have a local hobby shop. Not everybody does. George, I agree with some of the most fun has been with the 24s lately. It's been wicked fun, man. And I'm going to do the podcast. Shoot, I should be bagging stuff while we're talking. I'm kidding. I had to get some more. There's so many comments that I missed while I was just thinking around. So I didn't think comments were coming in. I need to play catch up. I need to get more bearing tubes going. These things don't make themselves. Not if you're trying to get them to you guys for cheaper. Because, yeah, it saves money if I bag them, and then I can pass on the savings, keep the bearings from being $40 for a set of bearings. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. Capra is amazing. I completely agree with Chris Giangelo on that. Spent $250 on it. Got custom 1.55 locked up RC bead locks. Very cool. I'm HPI Maverick. I heard it's rebadged Hobby Plus. Very possible. Get some CR18P portal weights. I need to. So that's the nice thing. Hobby Plus is already making some of these upgrades. And I just saw that in the Fair RC video they did last week. Bago D, I'm not going to talk about that. What do you think about Operation 11 Charlie being a scam? I don't think it's a scam. I think the purpose of it is to, I don't know that they get, first of all, a whole ton of just cash money. Most of what they get is cars, and those cars go out to veterans, with the purpose being for them to have a hobby and something to put their, so I'm actually answering your question. Their time and their effort into. So even when they got money from Horizon Hobby, they got that awesome check. It really wasn't. It was basically a big gift card for that they can spend on parts and chargers and cars that they give away. So I don't think so. I've seen it, but I've seen them give away tons of them. So yeah. But any nonprofit's going to have to draw paychecks for the people that work there. So I don't think anybody's getting rich off it. That can be, say, wounded warrior. Any of those can be said. They've got to have infrastructure, buildings to run out of, offices, computers. There's a whole lot of money that goes into running a nonprofit. Being one who has worked for nonprofits for 20 years, so I don't actually like quite the tone of the question. So excuse me for being a little rattled by it all. So I got to get my brain back on track here and not come back to the positive mood of RC, because what you're doing right there is the opposite of what I want to see in the hobby, and I don't want it here. So if you're going to be that way, just your name kind of gives me an idea of what you stand for, and we don't want that here. So I'm going to give you a chance. So every part of my being just wants to hit block you. I don't want to see your stuff on my channel, but I'm going to give you a chance in the spirit of the hobby and reaching out to people. But yeah, I don't think it's that way. I know the people firsthand, and yeah, it's too easy to get talking and get all that stuff going. So I'm going to skip to the bottom. Pull out my Michigan map. All right, I missed some here. How do we send you stuff to try out, Kevin? Fine. I'm not just taking anything to try out this year. This year's the year of no. Um, if it's not something that I want to use personally, I'm saying no to it. So if I don't want to put it on my cars, I don't want to have to do a video on something and then take it back off. I have a lot of cars that I bought and liked and was doing stuff with, and then people wanted to send me stuff for them in the past, and they're cool, whatever, but it's not really what I wanted to do with it. So I spend a whole lot of time taking and changing motors to put it in, show how one works, but then wishing I had the one that I already had in it back in. And it's just hours of time that I don't have to do. And so I'm just trying to refocus this year and, do things differently. And while a lot of the products that I did show, like I never wanted to show crap, it's not something I wanted or was the way I wanted to go. So with a particular thing. So especially some of the bashers and stuff, like my Traxxas and stuff, I keep them stock for like the bashers because I just have more things break the more that I add to them. So sorry, I'm getting back my frame of mind back into the right spot. Please, how can I get a hand Charles Atterbury on the 6x6 for myself? Through Furatech. Furatech has them. It's their Cayman 6x6, and they sell it ready to run with the radio, tires, everything. You just have to add your battery, and you're good to go. And it's pretty cool. In fact, I need to do more videos on it. Now that we don't have snow on the ground here, I can do stuff on my own course. Where's the Max Smash Shred? I want to see your smiling face from that second gear. I need to switch the motors out. I don't even want to try them stock. I've seen them run stock, and I'm not that interested. So when I can get time to get to the things that I want, and I can get through some of these videos and builds, which are going to take me time to do, then I can get to the ones that I've bought and want to work on. Like I paid cash for all my Max Smasher stuff and the motors and everything, and I can't get to them because I'm doing other stuff. So mini drag car looking cool. It does look cool, and I think the purpose of it is different. See, the comments froze up again, dang nabbit. My goodness, maybe you guys are just overblowing it. Shoot. And Jordan announced the cutoff is 16th. Brian Taff. What basher for a small yard, 1/3 acre? A 3S Arma Granite. That's probably what I'd get. Or the 4S Creighton. But the 3S Granite is a blast. Or the Big Rock. Kind of in favor of the Big Rock more these days, but either one of them is awesome. What am I pulling the Michigan map out for, David Ferris? Did I miss something? What do I need to show? What's up? First time on the King channel. Hey, Zachary. All right. Zachary, the day is going good. Radioactive scale, what's going on? Durham Reality, what veteran RC organization do you recommend? The only one I know of is Operation 11 Charlie. And, when they started, people like me would send them things or parts or money for them to do builds that they could give away. And so it was paying for that. And then they would do like a thing where they'd have veterans go out for a crawl and they'd give them an RC and all the tools they need to work on it, the charger, batteries, all that to get them in the hobby. The idea being that when, PTSD and suicide being so prevalent, to get their minds focused on other things to kind of deal with some of their demons when they're coming. They've got something to focus on or work on and not be focused on what's going on in their head. So that's kind of the premise behind it. And I've only seen good things. But yeah. Stampede was my first RC, going back to a comment I'd seen earlier. I had a Traxxas Stampede. I still have it. Still love it. But yeah. So I'm not going to see, the problem is I'm not going to see the questions from the Facebookers anymore. First in battle, definitely Operation 11 Charlie. I've seen in person what they do for my brothers. Because they are now a registered nonprofit, they have to show their financials too. Like they have to turn those in. And so those are, I don't know if you go, there's different like trust pilots or trust for nonprofits where you can see their records and all that. So what was being said earlier should not be true. Like that stuff is supposed to be disclosed for people, at least the CEOs or the owners or the people that started it. If they take a paycheck from it, it's supposed to be disclosed what those high ups, VPs, whatever, make. So, and it's supposed to also reflect their expenditures and how much goes towards, say, advertising, towards that goes directly to programs, all that. But yeah. John Viscuso, I suffer from anxiety and working on them helps me tons. Yeah. It's I don't really have anxiety or things like that, but I had very stressful work and a lot of travel and a lot of, it's just been a great release for me from that, and something else to do to put my mind on when I've got a lot of stress or things that are just kind of making me stressed out. So it just gives you something to work on, something to redo your focus. And that's why when I get stuff like that going on that kind of is counter to that, and what so many of us find from this hobby is when I get frustrated, because there's a few people in the hobby that are more into tearing people apart and more selfish. And so, yeah, there was some selfish ambition and selfish motivation, I think, behind that post, or some personal vendettas. That's the other thing that happens with people, especially when somebody's doing something good. Other people can't stand to see that somebody else is doing something good. But we are here to encourage people to be in the hobby and to find the good in it. So that's what I would encourage people to do as well. And I have gotten a lot more blocky on my channel. Like people are like, oh, you should listen to all voices and whatever. And it's like, some I just don't need to hear. Like, and I don't have to. I don't need anything in this to bring me down. And so, yeah, people can have a voice. They can have it somewhere else. It doesn't need to be in my comments. All right, I hit refresh. We got more comments coming in. I can see the Facebookers again. What's going on, John Martin? I mentioned you earlier. I was talking about that Losi. Are they coming out with a drag car? Not drag car. They did come out with a drag car. Are they coming out with a sprint car or midget car? Something ovalish? If you look at their Instagram, there's some things that make you think that they're talking about a V2. But yeah. What's going on, Jason Sexton? Long time watcher, first time commenter. Welcome. Welcome to the comments, Jason. Sorry, it's a night where I had to field something that kind of got on my nerves. You're going to the crawler comp up north April 1st, Jeremy Helmaniak. I don't know about it. That's one of the biggest things. I got to find out about things. And I don't spend a whole lot of time searching for comps. So, yeah, when people tell me about them, I try to. There's somebody actually asked me to go to a 128 scale race in Maryland that they wanted to. I don't know that I'm going to be able to make that. It's quite a haul, but they're going to be doing a pretty cool mini Z race and have some big time guys from the mini Z racing there. So it'd be cool to see. Those guys go so fast. But yeah. German Reality, yes, they're doing good things. I'm very excited to see them at the USTE. That's when I get to see them. Got no chill. What's going on? What fix am I doing? I'm packing bearings right now. People are loving the bearing kits for the TRX4M, so I have to make. I just got stacks of baggies of them that I'm packaging. First in Battle said something I experienced with Operation 11 Charlie is when they drove 10 hours to take care of veterans from my community that couldn't walk. It was simply heartwarming. Redevil, one of the most wholesome channels out there. Yeah, so a lot of the funding that they get in cash is actually to drive and to get people to events, pay for the hotels, pay for the meals, all the setup that goes into doing that. Is not cheap, because it's not cheap to take one person to an event, especially when they go into like Badlands from Florida and yeah, have to fly to events. And so yeah, there's some perks that happen, like if he wants to be at a place like to represent in California for the Badlands, that money's got to come out of it to pay for the trip. But that's the only way you can grow it, to bring in more money to help more people. You got to spend money to make money, and that's the same for nonprofits. So yeah, because they have to spend money for me to go and do media about what's happening and how money is being used to benefit people, in order to help people realize that the money that they spent is going to a good cause and that it's being used. But that money to send me isn't actually going to those people, except that it's bringing in more money to help more people. And the only way you can do that is by making sure people know what's going on. So it's not as simple as people want to make it seem in their minds. Everything, all this all costs money. Doing RC, doing the YouTube, I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars over the 7 years doing the YouTube thing. It's, you don't just do it. So yeah. Do I prefer TLR Typhon or the Creighton EXP 6S, just general use? Creighton EXP 6S any day of the week for me. It's just more monster truck like. That's what I like. Man, this keeps resetting. The comments are sucking tonight. John Martin thinks I'm onto something with Losi. Are you looking at their Instagram? I can show you guys on here. I can't pull it up screen sharing, but I can straight up show you what I saw. On here that prompted my questions. So they actually have a livery on this midget taking place. And then they posted this picture of their old 10 scale sprint car, and it says, "Who remembers? If you had one, what feature do you remember being the best part? if you want a slider, should our 2.0 be more scale? Question mark, meaning that they're going to do a 2.0. Should our 2.0 be more scale? That doesn't sound like if we made a 2.0, should we make it more scale? I mean, yeah. And here's the actual car. So the one was a rendering. This is it actually at the event at the, where is this? Is it the Chili Bowl? Yeah, 2023. So yeah, pretty cool. Zach, we love that Monster Truck Jam you film. It was great. Did you participate? Yes, I raced and I took second place in the freestyle at it. And then we had the Monster Jam drivers actually running, and that was the best part. That was a highlight, watching them all run. So yeah, RC Amigos, what am I doing? I'm getting into it with somebody in the comments on a live. Isn't that fun? I send RC Amigos some of the comments I get with my response, and I run them by him. Sometimes before, sometimes after. Sometimes I have to go back and delete them. He helps moderate my want to backhand at times. There's some that are just so bad that you just want to react, and I know I shouldn't, and most of the time I don't. But there are times when I do, and there are times when Pablo says, "Yeah, just let it be." And there are times when I change my response based on his better wisdom on it. And yet I do the same for other people. Some people will send me stuff. I'm like, I don't know about that. Because it's different when it's not you getting blasted, and you can see it from a be the better man perspective. But it's hard when it's you that that you don't want to be the better man. You just want to engage. Oh, Xbox baseball, dude. If you're on, we got to hook up on Xbox, man. Then time and place and stuff. Jason Sexton, I seen the fire in them eyes. Killing RC cards. What's up, man? Internet is super for human thought now. It's hard life in the Matrix. Too many Agent Smiths. Right on. Chris Smith, somebody's asking about weight boxes. I missed it. And what was it on April 1st? I missed that too. When I switched and I did the reset. If it's not too far, I'm always looking for a trip to go on, especially, if it's in the state. That makes it pretty doable. Although Michigan, you can go pretty far. If you go UP, there's certain UP trips I couldn't make because that's a bit of a haul. But yeah, there are weight boxes, like Jeff Walter said, on the site. Since they sponsored Chillville Car, something's up. Not midget, little car. Oh yeah. See, there's Pablo correcting me again, where I could get myself in trouble. The little person's car is the correct way to say it in 2023. My bad. Rage. There are times when it's hard not to. Especially right now at the comments not loading after a certain thing. Will I be stocking metal links for the TRX4M? I will be stocking brass links for the TRX4M. However, I decided the TRX4M handles way better out of the box than the SCX24, partly due to size. So I'm not doing everything brass this time, like, because I don't feel like it fully needs it. Maybe a little bit down low, but so like steering links, then I'm going to do aluminum at least to start and see how they do, because I think that's more where you just need a little stiffness, because I'm running them with plastic now and they're fine. But you can put a Chihuahua or whatever in there, and I just want a little bit more rigid. So, um, so I have that, and then I have, yeah, I feel like having the brass just straight on the bottom there is not a bad thing. So a little bit extra by having the knuckles up front be brass diff covers, then I'll do brass links on the bottom, which come at a cost because they can be a little bit more grippy than plastic, or even than aluminum, but they're softer. So, but yeah, those are some of the things I have coming. We'll have metal drive shafts coming. I haven't worked on that yet, so that'll be probably next. Um, but I think aluminum servo mount, and then I've been trying to work with them on an aluminum Mighty Chihuahua mount, and so that's still kind of waiting on. What I really need to do is trailing arms for the SCX24 or the TRX4M that you could do for some of the monster trucks. Outcast 4S thought Stadium McMaster, it's awesome. I can control it really well, but some people might not be able to. I've handed the control to other people. It's squirrely. It's a stunt truck. And so if you're not used to driving an RC, it can be a handful. And the Creighton is probably better at driving than the Outcast. But if you want to just go nuts, the Outcast is so much fun. Owen Rogers, never seen you get flustered like that. I don't fluster very much. Stuff like that really get me, especially when you're calling into question somebody. You know, when you have a name like his name was, his channel name or username, and then he's calling into question somebody that's trying to do something reputable, you're kind of like, and he's calling him out on it. It's just like, I don't know. It didn't sit well with me in the way that it was phrased too. You could tell there's something going on there with him not liking something about them as people, I think, more than anything. But we'll see. I don't know all the situations there. Kenton, what's on Juan Martinez? Juan gave me some ideas in a V2 of the Send servo mounts. So mine, I'm still running mine. Like I had them thicker when I first made them, but it just felt like overkill, and I wanted a little bit more of the flexibility in it. And mine's still, even with running it in the cold, I haven't busted it or cracked it or done anything. But he had one of his explode on him that I had made, and I did at one point use some different filament than I normally do. I normally use Hatchbox, which has been very reliable and strong for me. In fact, mine's one of the green ones, which is Hatchbox filament. But there were so many orders coming in, I used some of my Overture PLA that I had here, and I don't feel like it's as good. Even in the printing, I had more failures of that. So I'd print 6 at a time, and I'd usually have one of them have a little mistake on the bottom layer of it. Just something with the filament. And so it may have been doing some of that on the interior that I didn't know was happening. But anything that breaks, those things, I'm just replacing them. They're easy enough to replace. I've actually got now PETG, and I just in the mail today. Where are they? I got the new satin beds for the Prusas. So I can do PETG, which is a stronger plastic as well, which is supposed to be really easy to do with the Prusas. Just get the satin sheet, set your settings to PETG, and it should just do it. So it'll set the temps and everything properly. If I do it in my slicer right, which is a Prusa slicer, everything's geared to it. So, yeah. So, but I did add some more material across the bottom where the axle is, and then I just thickened them outward, made the whole thing just wider. so that it makes it more rigid. But everybody drives different. I know that I drive a little more under control, and I don't really have things. I have pretty wide open spaces. And so running into something with the front end of my truck has never happened. So that's just testing. I mean, I've thrown it in the testing. I would just throw it at the ground, like pick it up and throw it down onto one wheel and, try to break it. And I haven't broken it. So again, I think that part of it is the actual PLA. And then that I used being the Overture. So only using Hatchbox now, or the stuff that Pablo recommends, which is the stronger stuff. Adjustable. Everyone dropping after Josh stream. Oh boy, hey Oni. We heard you were trying to take over our time slot, Harley. Yeah, well, mine's sucking, man, because mine's not. I'm just packing bearings and chatting and getting into rage fits tonight with the comments. So just trying to stand up for truth, justice, and the Operation 11 Charlie people. But I think there's some people that left and some people that wanted to be more with it and whatever, and I don't know. And I think that there's a lot of behind the scenes talk, and there's more to it. But what I don't question what they're doing for the veterans at all, and what they're trying to do. But I'm stealing my son's job as we're sitting here because this is going longer than I thought. This is going to be a quick one. But yeah, what did you end up working on over on Harley's? Did he end up building something new? He always builds something on Friday or design something. If he did some design work in Fusion 360, I should go watch it. Try and soak all of it in from the master, because I've been watching a bunch of YouTube videos and doing tutorial stuff on it, and there's a lot. That program is awesome. But remembering some of it, like the ability to draw things with points and single wire and then extrude that, has been like boing, wicked good. But thinking in that mindset is going to take some getting used to. TRX4M page is blank. It's not intentional. Something is messed up. Yeah, I'm no competition for LA Design's live streams. These are way better. Am I going to get the FureTech Cayman 4x4 and 6x6 in my inventory? Debatable. Debatable. I'm probably going to get a couple of them in and see how they do. I have the Hiroyama and I have the Gold Digger. And I really like the Gold Digger. It's sitting here. The Hiroyama I took out today. I was going to run it, and I ran out of time, but I took the brass bead locks off of here because everybody wants to see the Hiroyama as like a rock bouncer more, and I took the monster truck tires off it. It doesn't really slow crawl. It slow drives smooth, but then it's got the power. Like it's hill climb in and go nuts with it, speed. But I actually really like it with the wider, bigger tires on it. But I have the RC four-wheel drive. What are my favorite RC four-wheel drive tires called? I can never remember the name of them. It's like trying to remember a movie star name. Scramblers. I can never remember Scramblers. Also, something else going on the site. We're going to have the SMS NAR bars. I worked out something with SMS and Scale Metal Supplies. And so we're going to be selling these. These are for your LMTs. So these are the first LMT parts I'm going to be selling. We'll see if they're the last, but those are going to be coming to the site soon. I've already done photos and stuff. I finally just have a spot for my photo booth to be set up all the time. So I was able to take the photos already. I just haven't had time to stop and put them on. So, because so many people are ordering these bearings, I needed to get to this restock stuff. Tony Duck Duck Goose, Duck Duck Gray Duck. I don't know what that means. Losi Monster Truck or an X Max next. Oof, depends what you want to do. Both of them are awesome. He was mostly talking. That's all I'm doing. So if he was only mostly talking, he was more interesting than I've been tonight. Hey, what's up, Redevil? Yeah, so I'm going to be, I was trying to think of what RCs I have still to sell, and I was going through it in my mind, and I've got quite a few. I've just got to figure out how and what ones I'm going to sell locally only. Like the semi-trucks, I'm only going to do local because they're so fragile that I don't trust them to actually ship well. But I have some other ones that I will be selling that are going to be some crawlers, that's for sure. You're going to see some of my 1/10 scale crawlers, not my minis. I might sell some minis if people are interested in any of those. I'd be interested. I like them. I like having them on my wall around me. It makes it feel kind of cool down here. But there's some builds that I could potentially part with my comp trucks because I have too many to comp all the time. But I like having them. JDRCs, Swampers. Yeah, Swampers RC makes a ton of his own stuff. Peloton, get it gone, man. Yeah, it's a mini Rift, John Martin. Mr. JRCs. When am I coming back to Virginia Beach? That's a good question. I'm trying to work something out. Peloton sweating to the oldies. It is the new sweating to the oldies. Josh is a mod on here. That's your first problem. That's because somebody asked why he wasn't on one of these. And so I just did it just to appease the peoples. Operation 11, Charlie. Good evening, everyone. My ears were ringing. I have a feeling you were listening. RC Amigos, NAR bars. I might know who designed the NAR bars and when that idea may have even come into play. Why would there be NAR bars? These are not in the right case. Son of a gun. Which size are these? Well, that's not good. These are 8 by 12 by 3. Oh, these are those are the easy to tell ones. So many of these bearings are similar in size. There's like 3 of them where like, which is this one? So I had to write it all on a paper. I don't know. How do I do the camera thing? For people that missed it earlier, here's what I'm looking at. Not that. But I've got like a sheet. And it tells me how many pieces of each one to pull down. 4, 4, 4, 2. This is what I need to refill them from. Because all the bags say what one they're in. And they're all into tubes. And so I just got to keep refilling these slots. But I've got several projects to work on here. I've got the mini Stellar transmission. I'm going to put the mini, I think, into, we can go on a little tour. I forgot that I'm on this. This is what I've just recently set up. For those who don't know, this is kind of like my shipping work in the house area. It's not over in my studio. So I have all different types of parts. If you're looking on the website, we've got all the Furatech, Lizard Pros, Komodos. I've got it with just the mounts to hook up to your standard transmission there, which is the cheaper way. right there. Then I've got them already pre-mounted to the Stellar transmission, which is the way I do it. We've got axles for their ram parts, and we've got link sets for if you have like the CCx24 FMS, those are the link sets for it. And metal, ultimates here, drive shafts. They've got the Rocket Mans in. Those are my FMS speed motors. Those are not for sale. Those are for me. Axles. This is that wider. What you're talking about, it's thicker. It's almost 2 times thicker, and that's got more bracing coming down to mimic the axle here. So it's just revised, not like a say it's a V2. It's just what's shipping now. And anyone that has one break and sends me a photo of it broken, they get the improved ones mailed back to them. So don't go breaking them intentionally, but those are there. They shouldn't break. Like I've been beating mine up and they haven't been breaking. DSM Off-Road has steering mounts aftermarket for the Mighty Chihuahuas and for the Reefs, and it also works with the NSDRC. So all those, but we got axles and all that. Anyway, that's not where I was trying to go. So those are what I got to get to. Speed motor in that. That's that 6x6 people were asking about. These are some of the SCX24s, but we have a lot of them off the shelves because we're comping, and so some of them are in here. This is actually my like mailbag box, but after coming back from the mail, I put some of the cars in it that didn't fit in. But yeah, the Traxxas stuff's here. All more inventory to fill these shelves are back in here. This was where I originally had started. That's where I had my original first products. But now it's like boxes and baggies and this, which nobody has seen yet. This. I haven't disclosed this to anybody yet. You guys get the first look at it. Can you guess what it is? You see the tires? What do you think? Based on these tires? Oh, I can't see comments on here. Dang nabbit, hold on. All right, I'm back. Yeah, Javier. Queenie, what's up? See, I miss the comments when it's not working. Zachary wants to know if he gets a car, will I sign it? If you put, I think there's a spot where you can mention something and ask for options. I guess I could. It's kind of weird to, but if you want that, I guess. Kenton knows. Oh, I guess a lot of you guys know what it is. Dang, damn it. I thought it was all cool and gonna be sneaky with it, but no. Yeah, it's a tractor puller in here. I haven't actually even taken it out yet to see if it survived shipment, but it's been so busy. The motors here. That looks really cool. This is Ross Hinshaw Designs makes these, and it looks really good. My colors, green and black. I love it. Check that out. It's not my stomach gurgling. That's the sump pump next to me. But yeah, so we got bins and all kinds of more products and stuff back there. And then these have been working like dogs. These are the 2 Prusas. And this sheet of paper is when I have a dirty thing. It goes into my light box here, and I put it on the floor before I set it on so I don't get that all dirty. But then the other workstation over there for live streaming and whatnot. It's a bit of a craziness in here. But yeah, this is what I've been working on. And I'm using the Mighty Handy tool. Also makes a great bearing divider. So if you have a Mighty Handy tool, You can use it for that. If you don't have a mighty handy tool, but you need to sort bearings, you should probably get one. That's all I'm going to say about that. I kid. I don't remember what I was getting up for in the first place. Was it to grab the Maz Designs thing or? What's up, Sean? It's RC Adventures. Hey, are you going to USTE this time? Because I'm making it this year. Oh, yeah. Javier, I'm going to be at USTE. Will you be there? That would be a mini beast in that box. It's a beast of some sorts. Oh, man, I'm going to get to meet Sean. I don't know if that's good or bad. It's going to happen. That's cool, man. I'm going to be getting there a little early because my kids are off of school that week. So I decided to just go down earlier because I wanted to get something close. And so we ended up getting an Airbnb. We had to get it for like a week. So we decided to go on the front end of it because we're off on school on the front end and not on the back end. So, yeah. And it's probably better because I'll be exhausted after USTE. It's gone, James Kettner. 30-plus veteran if everything goes well. That's amazing, man. Hey, if you guys are... I'd love to go out on the trail with you guys. If it can work out. But I might have to have a loaner. So I'm coming to USC, but believe it or not, I don't know if I'm going to bring any RCs besides minis. So I hope they have a mini park again. There's reasons why. I can tell you off camera, Javier, but... Installing upgrades on TRX form and strip teeth on the servo, moving it manually. Not the best servos. Mine have been okay so far. I've been lucky, but I've heard of a lot of them already going out. On my main one, I'm running the... what am I running? Oh, this. So I have the one that I'm totally building out, and I need to find the rails. I have so much stuff that comes in the mail. These, if you guys haven't used them, don't know what they are, these flubber stuffers, amazing. I only have them installed on one rig. It's my green rig. And if you saw the Ludington video I did where we went to the Ludington hobby shops, those inside of these scramblers are dynamite. That's all I want to say. Oh, here it is. It's in a box still. So this is not final production, as you can see. This is early on, and I should have hopefully had this done already, but busy. This is the chassis. You can see where the mounts are and the braces for hooking into their stuff. But even carbon, there's flex to it. Like you wouldn't want to just, you could snap this still, but once you get all the pieces in here that brace it across, it'll be rigid. But these are the bumps that I was talking about. That's so that the bodies will sit in here and all the stock stuff. But it has its own little tray. The main thing that I like about it, and there's a couple things in here, screws and things for assembling, and a brace that goes between. But it does have their little notched tray here, and so this will allow it to have the ESC, because the stock one, the chassis actually bends back, it slopes, but this is gonna go like that. but the main skid and the front stuff will all fit. I don't do it upside down like an idiot. Gosh. And I'm doing them backwards. What the heck? It's like I've never built anything before in my life. It's close. Ready to run close. But, yeah. Oh, dang it. I did it again. Just after I was making fun of myself. I'm trying to rush. So, lots more options for the shocks to be able to lay them down. Get a little bit more flex out of everything. I still want it to flex kind of realistic. That's what I like about the TRX forums is how they look. They look good. So, Jeremy, yes, we are at Ludington Hobbies for their 24 scale comp, and I won. So, you could have seen greatness in action if you'd have been there, but maybe next time. No, it was cool. Cool course, cool shop. They got so much stuff there on display. And I always loved that. I love to walk into a shop and just see a ton of stuff out on display. Lots of Traxxas stuff. So, yeah. Traxxas, Arma. Still trying to count bearings slowly as we're talking. Because that's where we're at right now is making sure people have Traxxas bearings and the right number in each kit. Yeah, so Ludington is like, there's Michigan, right? It's like there-ish. It's up there. It's on the side, right on Lake Michigan. And they're in the downtown, the old town. That's one of the things I love about Michigan is the little old towns they got. Everything so much local. Like, when I was in Virginia, if you want to get your car work done, it's mainly like corporate type of Firestones and stuff like that you'd go to, tread quarters. And here, man, it's like Bill's Auto. Tom's Truck Tools, or I don't know, like everything's very local and it's got that cool local vibe to it. Small shops and people looking after you. It's pretty cool. I like it. My servo died. I love my CCxRC Chihuahua. Yeah. Should I Chihuahua? If you Chihuahua Noggle, you should DSM off-road their servo mount. You could do it without their servo mount. I'm not gonna lie. It's possible. You just have to kind of shave that inner part where it slides in because it doesn't fit in very well. But you can just kind of I took an X-Acto knife or my, what is it, the little utility knife like this. You just kind of shaved away at the servo mount, the stock one, and fit it in. But, I mean, most people don't want to do that. Oh, son of a... Whoa. Hold on. Yeah, I did that. I just did that. I just mixed these up. Wrong ones. Luckily, they're very obviously different. I poured them onto the wrong tray. So I need to move these. Give me 2 seconds, guys. Get this squared right back. Get it the right way again. Gotta get the taller ones out of here. I just poured the new bearings I needed, but I poured them into the wrong spot. All right, so I need a 4x8x3. They're supposed to be over. So I need to move my Mighty Handy Tool barrier wall. Luckily, these ones are much taller and obvious. I knew it was going to happen. Multitasking is not something I, as a him, am very good at. Oh, goodness. Gotta keep a light heart about things so you don't get all pissy when you do something stupid. Save that rage for the stuff that deserves it. In a 6S Creighton, would you suggest Castle Mamba X1515, 2022 100 kV, or factory Spectrum? I mean, it's a toss-up. I honestly, if they're the same size, I don't know what the 1515 is, but I think it's for the same size as the Spectrum factory one. I'd probably do the Castle. What do you see? Are you running? I like Castle motors. I haven't had any go, and honestly, other than some of the 3S ones, I've had one 3S motor go on video. I showed it on the Vortex, but I have not had any other of my brushless motors go. I've had ESCs and stuff go, but for the most part, motors have been pretty good. But I know some of the 3S ones, other people, RC Guy Garage has had issues with, Earl Moorhead. But in that range, in that smaller size, those Castles are just like, you get that, the Copperhead or the other combo Sidewinder, those things are just workhorses. RC Recreation uses his multi-tool every day. Yeah, man. Spastics works great. I use Spastics paints too. Just installed the TRX aluminum servo mount. That wouldn't work with the Mighty Chihuahua. That is not going to flex for you. Little Brian is my boy, been friends for 28 years. He's up in Manistee. Oh, okay, cool, man. Tony 2 times strikes again. RC Amigos. Yeah, Jeremy. So do you go to the Ludington Hobby? Do you ever do the 24 scale comp? It was fun because it was timed, so I could actually, like, I don't normally film a full. See you, Javier. Good night, man. Gonna be working with veterans tomorrow. Yeah, if they have a Metal Gear replacement, that's not a bad option. I mean, you potentially could just get another one and install it and maybe have better luck. Sometimes it's hit or miss with those. You might get one that's, for whatever reason, goes earlier than it should. It's hard to say with electronics. Being a gear thing, especially plastic too, it's hard to know. I don't think Traxxas sells just the gears for them to rebuild them. I think that's done. I think. Frank, you're cheap. You bought the aluminum servo mount, which is totally an unnecessary upgrade for that. For where it is, it's not a moving part that needs aluminum. It seems spendy to me, my friend. You seem like a spendy guy. Throw a wrench. I don't know why you don't have a wrench. Wugga wugga. Can I do it from here? Can I do it from my phone? I can't. Wait. Did I do it? I did it. If you hold down. You should have been, because you work the stream all the time, my friend. You can help kick people out. It has saved me earlier. I would have never seen that comment. It's pretty baseless claims coming in here and just trying to throw people under the bus like that. Not good. It's not the place for it. You got something like that, you do it, brother to brother. You don't just come in spreading that kind of junk in a live stream like this. I mean, they could potentially go after you for libel, honestly, like for trying to slander and smear their name. But yeah, we don't need it here, that's for sure. Not the place, not the time, and I'm not going to be that dude's bulletin board for that crap. I'm gonna hit it head on. I wasn't going to, but then I realized it needed to be addressed because he did state it, and it had been up there a while before I saw it. At which case, again, it's slanderous, so it needed to be nipped in the bud. So, people that weren't here earlier, somebody came in here throwing shade at Operation 11 Charlie as an organization and basically saying that their leaders take the money or potentially could, and there's no checks and balances. And I mean, you could say that for anything you want. You know, just come in any company you want. But not on my time. Not when I'm here to stand up for principle. Just the way it was done too. Am I able to ship to Australia? Shipping to Australia is like $100 add-on. Not really. I don't, because it's so expensive that for the products that I sell, I just honestly wouldn't advise doing it, because you probably would pay more in shipping than most of the products I sell cost. Because I've sent some small things to Australia to buddies, and the shipping was insane for what it was. And then in the end, I found if I wanted to bless a buddy with something in Australia, like through Shippo, they actually make it, not Shippo, through Teespring, they have facilities there where they actually print and ship from Australia. And so I was able to send a couple things that way to people, but most things, no. The merch, I think it just automatically ships from there. So hats, shirts, that they do in country. But yeah, it's a bummer. CCxRC Recreation. But it's blue, says Frank Nagel. That's what I said, Sean. I don't think it was one of the people unless they changed their name or they use a different screen name to come on and blast that stuff. Because it was like Bag of Dicks or something was his name. So it's very possible he came in and did it just as somebody else, but to... Yeah. Anyway. Wrong person to do it to, as somebody who's worked in nonprofits and know the inside of workings of what has to go on. And everybody on the outside just wants to point fingers. But yeah. We'll have to talk in a different spot, Sean. Because I had some ideas. You did miss the excitement, man. Oh, it is the one? Okay. Well, we'll have to talk because I have a couple ideas of who it might have been, and maybe you already know. But I did not. I put it on blast. I put it on blast. He must not have known that I got one of your guys' awards and that I was a friend of Operation 11 Charlie. But he did know that. That's what's weird. Archie goes, how long am I going to be on for? I don't even know. It's supposed to be a short one. And then all that stuff happened, and then there's a lot of questions. And where do all these bearings go? These ones or the ones that you get in the kit? A bunch of the small ones go in the transmission. The bigger two, these two go on the outer knuckles. Some of these, then there's medium ones that go on the inner drive shafts. So when you take out the bushings, you just match them up and then replace it with the one that's the same size. Hotel Wi-Fi does suck. If you do Hampton Inn, you can pay for the better, or there's several of them that are in that Hyatt that allow that. But 5 by 8 by 2. Yeah, it's tough because whatever. So much of the funding goes like to bringing 30 vets to up to something like USTE. That's not cheap. But there's always going to be administrative costs. Work doesn't get done without having somebody to do it. And then the bigger it gets, they have to do it full time, so they have to leave other work. It's just, it is what it is. And that way, when you're doing more like that, you can bring in more money to offset that money that you have to take to pay yourself to do the work. And it's a circle, man. Like, did I go through all those blue baggies? No, you're there. So many, so many berries. So people think this stuff just happens. It's just a lot of counting. It's nothing glorious. Done with the front, just starting on the back. Realize how many are still installed. Yeah, if you haven't done the transmission, there's a bunch that go on the transmission on all the gears in there. Yippers. I just did a full install on one of mine. At first, I'd only done the transmission, but I just finished it up. It felt good. My son's going to be mad at me. He was going to do this for money, and I'm going to knock out most of them. Hotels not cheap anymore. No, they're not. And they don't have as much help, so they're not doing as much. Like, they don't clean your room and all that stuff. Enjoy free shipping. PureTech 35 shipping. Woo! Unless you get them from me. If you buy the Lizard Pro and just tack on something for $5, you get free shipping. You know where the button is too, amigo, if you're not busy. The Trans does not have bearings unless you buy the aftermarket motor transmission combo for the TRX4. Okay. See ya, amigo, RC amigos, Pablo. So yeah, that's the answer to that. See you, Jeff. Have a great weekend to you as well. Next Friday, I think, night. I got to check my calendar. But I want to get down. They're doing mini Z racing now Friday nights at Crawler Space RC. And that stuff is legit fun. So I want to get over to it and check it out. I'm trying to also just do, like, the fact that we have so many great hobby shops in the area is unprecedented. Like, there are so many hobby shops in Michigan. There are so many. Within man, if I stretch it out to Ludington and go an hour away, if I go an hour 15 away from my house, there are probably Muskegon, Holland, Grand Rapids has 4, 5 with the racetrack. Kalamazoo, Battle Creek, there's 2, 3. There's probably about 10 hobby shops within an hour and a half of me, or more. It's insane. And then we have Walter RC Park, which is just a place to go and run RCs. It's crazy. So we are very blessed with RC craziness here. Now I just need to get the monster truck game going on this side of the state. The other side of the state has it going. I need to get out there to do it as well, but I want to get something going. I can't run it, but I'd love to have something going, and I would be a part of it and show up for it on this side, and I would support it. But I just don't have the time to manage something like that, because this, while it doesn't pay a lot of money, it requires a lot of time. Hours, probably 12 hours a day. Which is why I was up till 4 a.m. last night. And I love it. I wouldn't change it. Frank Noggle made the big screen. Well, I thought that's what you were alluding to. You're asking how much longer I was going to be on. Do you have avatar receivers? Frank Mabry, they are on order. I need some too. So I've got a couple coming for me, and I got a couple coming for the store. But the same thing, they had we're going on holiday. What do you need before you do? And so I put in what I had money for at the time. And that was something that was a very much needed to get ordered thing. And so I ordered it. Once I get some more money in, I'm going to order more Avatar radios. It's legit my favorite radio. It's just been good to me. Yeah. I want to get my sons on them too. So I needed to rethink some of their builds and that. Ground pounder parts. Don't know anything about them anymore. Kenton, sorry. My buddy at Freestyle RC, Josh Zimmerman, used to make the ones I would have recommended, but he's since closed down Freestyle RC. Uh-oh. One of these is short of bearings, so I gotta find out which one of these top ones is missing one. There's still a bearing on the table here, which leads me to believe one got a miscount. The other way to do it is I'll weigh them all before I put them on the shelf, and the one that comes up weighing less, that's a good way to also verify. So that has all of them. What would it have been? This one maybe? Dun, dun, dun. There's only 3 of them sitting on top of all the other bearings, so it has to be one of these 3. So you liking the 18th. The Traxxas? I am. There's no comps for them here yet. So I'm waiting to see if the Traxxas only dealers put in anything and do any comps. So now I'm doing the fun stuff. Michigan got that hobby fever. We need to run oval. Yeah, you got oval there too. Hey, Tony, glowing tomato. Oh, you got the Gravedigger Stampede. How did you get one of those in 2019, man? You got lucky. I found it. 1, 2, 3 of this bearing. Now 4. All right. See you, swappers. Now I can't blame my son if somebody's missing a bearing, because now I'm probably the one that messed up, if there is one missing. I always keep extras though, so if anybody has any issue with a bearing falling apart on the install or it comes in from shipping and it's missing, I can send out. Somebody had one that said they was missing a bearing, and that actual original set was packaged not here. I had it packaged before it's sent to me, but this is the cheaper way to do it for everybody. More time for me, but the first set was just get them out the door, and this is what allows us to keep the prices nice and low. At some point it might not be feasible anymore, but when that time comes, we'll decide. All right. Good night, Bill. So that's for Swampers. Crazy, most of my hobby shops are just warehouses pumping out RC stuff. Yeah, yours are the eBay shops, but you can still go in for local pickup. We have a couple that have things that you can do indoors to run, but some of them are just shops that just sell products. But we have quite a few things that are available. Why did Axial discontinue 6x6, and why don't they make a new one? Because they didn't sell. They're not mass market sellers like a Jeep or a Bronco is to just the mass consumer beyond the RC, like have to have everything enthusiast. Like for them to make it for like maybe 1,000 people want a 6x6, like the numbers versus 20,000 that would buy, or 10,000 that would buy a Jeep. That's kind of where they have to play the numbers game and do more of them that sell to more people. So it is what it is. I should be working on that Fear Attack, but I need to film it, I think. Does it help, like, to show a build video of something like this? Does it help, or should I just show it running? Like, it's just literally swapping over. I guess I could put my phone up and time lapse it while I'm talking, and we could do it live too, but Pan Gear RC, everybody go check it out. He's got a channel. It's always fun to sub people. Yeah, they take a beating. Surprising your body was good. I think I will actually stop working on these so that I can work on that. I need to get that done. I need to show it and test it. So they're reburying these up, or rebag them all up. This was the other thing I did. I had him make little bags for them all to keep them in, because when I step away from here, the cat would want to bat them all to the floor. This is my guess. I cannot not say that the cat wouldn't do that. If only Traxxas would, if only any of the companies would make it like the Cross RC, but ready to run, even if it's Lexan, I would be fully on board and buy one. So if they want to take my money, they could do that. But it may not, they may not need my money. But that would be an easy way to make me buy one of those. I know I had a bag for these, but I can't find it. What's going on, Eclectic Electric? It's a cool name. That's fun to say. I just dropped 2 bearings. Where did those go? I got it. Saved it. Tedious work. These are the 8x12. Keeping everything organized. It's been something else for me, that's for sure. It's a lot. You guys going in and buying them? Is that what's happening? Some of you guys watching buying bearings, trying to make me stay here and make them for longer? I see you. I call shenanigans. My cat, never. Yeah, he's a little punk. I love it. It's so much personality, but he's a total punk. All right. Well, all these bags now have to go. This box. So much to do, so little time. Put the SCX24 3MT kit and absolutely love it. Very cool, man. The MT. What are they saying? Electric? They don't get the eclectic. Thanks, Clay Built. The character's not gone. I just need to get through some of this stuff that's more like, I don't know, certain companies wouldn't want me. If I buy something, I don't mind going into the King character to do a video, but if they send it to me, unless they ask for the King to unbox it, it's stupid. Like the worst unboxing ever. I have fun doing those, honestly. And I want to do more, even of good cars, just kind of pointing out things that make it sound silly, even though it might be good, just because the guy's an idiot. I love that kind of stuff. But, like, I can't do that I've got to build. What do I have to do? I still have to do the Furitech transmission, Furitech transmission motor ESC for the Capra 18 with the Reefs 400 being put in there at the same time. Those are things I have to do before I can get to some of the other stuff. Like the Max Smasher, I will probably do the worst because it's been out for so long now that it's perfect fodder for it. So I'll probably do a King of RC Max Smasher unboxing. And maybe I will leave it slow just so I can have a little bit of extra make fun of itness to talk about. Okay. I mean, what can something like that smash? An anthill? It's tiny. It's not no monster truck. Little truck. I make something up. Come out of my butt with it. There's that hillbilly. That right there is a tiny monster truck. Tiny monster. Doesn't that sound stupid? All right. The cleanup of this has not been fun. Last time we just hammered through and got it all done, but I wasn't doing live, so I was doing a better job keeping things cleaned up as I went. It's a lot of bearing tubes. These little things. I don't know what to use them for, so they're gone. Shoot, here's some bearings. Those look like the... Oh, these are the 3x5 by 7 by 2.5. Yes. I can't do accents either. I get made fun of whenever I try to do accents. It's a monster truck for ants. What is this? A monster truck for ants? Oh, the fun that could be had. There goes my ingenious sorting machine. My taped pieces of paper. This is home small business at its finest right here. Put that back in that general area there. Shove all these bearings away. This is such a ghetto fab area here. Like we were talking about if we have to sell the house ever, like when my kids go away to school or whatever, it's gonna be way too big for like us and my in-laws. To just be in. Like it's too big. And so but I look at some of the stuff, like in the middle of the basement I've installed this workbench in like the nicer area that was finished walls and beadboard and all that. And I put up pegboard everywhere, and I guess I'll call it crafting room. I'll try to make it look like somebody's put a sewing machine here or something, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. It's pretty funny. See you, Zachary. All right. So we're going to get the green one, I think it is now. Oh, what sounded that? Oh, I didn't screw this bottom one in, so it flipped against the wall. I need to put a second screw in that mount. So this is the beast that's getting the upgrades. I wish I could go wider screen. So I just have this little bendable thing that Pablo said was one of the best things. I have it that comes over the stand here. And I screwed Velcro across the front face of this board. And then I just use another piece here to keep it from tipping and kind of hold it in place. Because I only can really fit 2 legs on the bench. Which is, if you see it wobble at all, it's because I accidentally hit this thing. But in order to keep the legs out of the shot and keep things, I have to kind of just rig it. But I can move it left and right as I need to based on where the lenses are. Actually, if I turn it this way, it'll get the lenses more toward the middle of my mat, my work mat here. But I can slide it along this, just let the Velcro up here and move it to get it where I need it to be. nothing over here. When I do stuff inside, I don't do anything like my crazy cameras or anything that I do when I'm in the studio. I just do an iPhone and put it on like the wide mode. So now I'm actually too far, but that's it. Just kind of cheat it. I don't have a super cool backdrop or anything, but it works. It's just to show people how it's done, kind of a thing. It's not needing it to be a perfect area, in my opinion. Let it be messy. Show what life is like, so people don't feel like they're the only one. If that makes sense. But yeah, nothing's as perfect or whatever you think it is when you see it on social media. All just kind of rigged up. So I have 6 small bearings left for the trans. That's correct. That sounds about right. Have you ever damaged property? What, with an RC car? I tear my lawn up all the time with the tractor. And with the RC car. All right, so this is the TRX4M that I'm going to be working on. Take off the lid here, show you underneath. It's going to get an upgrade. It's already got some FureTech stuff in it, but we've got their chassis kit that's going to go in here. And again, it's pre-sale one, so it doesn't have any special packaging, but all the pieces are in here. And we basically have to replace the stock one with it. So it'll be pretty cool. So you guys joining late. All right, so here is what I have already. It's already upgraded. My Chihuahua servo. I've got the FureTech. It's got that little spacer, but it's running a standard trans, but there's a spacer there. And the Avatar receiver and the Lizard Pro right there. So it's already pretty well built. But having a nicer chassis is good. James Kettner, so you don't have a full-blown studio Harley design? I mean, his is just an office. All of us say we have a studio or whatever, but I mean, I got studio lights back there I could bring over, call it a studio. But I actually have a whole other building that is a studio with big lighting stands and backdrops and all that kind of stuff. But it doesn't seem necessary for this kind of a thing. So yeah. Just put colored lights behind you, hang something on the wall, and call it a studio. That's all we do. Trying to look at how much has to get done. So the reason that they put these pieces in here is actually to hold the bumpers and the mounts for the body. That's pretty clever. Gives it some extra strength. Spaces it in, gives it that little channel that they need. Because it's a flat piece of carbon fiber, it needs a channel to be in, and so they made just a little piece of it channeled. But they used screw heads. That's a little bit of a bummer. Maybe it's because that's all they could find that wasn't like a button or a little bit more flush. what is it when it's angled in? Recessed. I don't know, but we're going to need to find some kind of a spacer. I don't think they gave us any. So I have to find a spacer for the shocks. So we'll have to look for some washers or something because they're gonna actually hit against the chassis. So that's one thing to note. Doesn't look too bad to switch over, honestly. Eclectic Electric. Yeah, I mean that's what I have in the other building. Is 18 by 24 inch soft boxes with grids on them. Egg crate. But it's all overkill for this, honestly. Especially for this mini stuff. And you tear up your tables in workplaces so much, especially if you're doing like the builds on it and you're cutting stuff. I probably am thinking about just getting a nicer table and doing the unboxings. Don't put the dirty trucks on with the dirty tires that mess up the table, and actually have it be more studio-like, but we'll see. We'll see. It's all hobbyist stuff. Trying to decide where this brace goes. I'm guessing this front brace goes actually right there between these two in that divot, because in the front you're not going to use the shock towers, so you're not going to use that bracing with the shock towers, so it needs a brace across. But you can see how it tapers front and rear to the transmission or skid plate. It tapers in, so it's wide out here, but then they come in tighter. It pinches front and rear, so they can't do that when they're using solid carbon. I've spent dumb amounts of money though. All right, cool. So have I. I don't know what we're doing here. We having a mine is a better thing going on, or what's going on here? Yeah. And yet Kevin Talbot has way more people watching him with way less. I've seen his lights up in his thing. None of it's necessary. So the guys that show up with the big stuff and then make crappy gear is gear, and it's not content. And so much of it goes beyond the gear that you have to make quality stuff, quality content. That I used to chase the gear game, and it's you see a lot of people with cool cameras that can't shoot anything interesting or even make it look good. So I've been on so many shoots where we overlight it just for the sake of the DP or whatever feeling good about, like, trying to impress somebody by having all these lights that are totally unnecessary, and honestly make it look less dramatic and interesting. And but yeah, so it's cool to have gear, but I know people that can make the most pretty stuff without it. If you have the right window, you don't even need a softbox or light. You can if you have daylight, you can make some really cool stuff. Now, consistency is an issue, but it's better for photography than video because it's not usually consistent enough for video, especially if you have to cut stuff up different times and all that. Or you change the timing of when you show something, it can be problematic. But yeah, I mean, gear is good. I mean, same thing with RCs. We throw a bunch of money at things that are totally unnecessary, just because we want to. So it makes us happy, makes us think it's going to perform better. What do I got to do? I'm trying to think the best approach because there's lights. I think I just got to unplug everything, and then we'll go from there. What's up, Cody B? You gonna be there? I gotta bring my game. All right. It'll be fun. I didn't actually run last time. I was trying to get the pulling stuff kind of figured out, and what I designed was crap. The first design I had was really good, and I thought I could shorten it, but it just changed the whole way that the pivot was and the way that it put downforce on the rear axle. And so when I cheated it in underneath and tucked it under the truck more, it changed that break point. And I mean, that front end, I can't wait to do the video. It was like, pop, 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 pop. It was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. But last week it pulled like crazy. So I'm going to go back to original design, and I have to actually lengthen it a little more because the Bronco, I need to get it out of the behind the Bronco bumper more. But yeah. No, I get it, Eclectic Electric RC. I'm just saying, like, the longer I've been in the video world, the more that I've found that I actually like doing more with less. I can create some better stuff if I know what I'm doing. Over time, I've learned, and sometimes we make things way more difficult, and so you don't ever actually do anything because you're so worried about how much you have to do to try and get the shot, or what you think you have to do, that it's just overwhelming. You don't do it. It takes too much time. It's not worth my time for a video that's going to get, it's not going to make me any money, for YouTube, basically. But when you can find out how to make things look good with very little needed, that's when, like, I go on shoots, and that's why I get paid to travel around the world to do video stories, is because I can get more done because I don't have to carry a lot of crap. I carry a small light kit, 2 LED roll-up LED panels with battery power, and I use that along with usually a window or a natural light of some sort, or bounce. I can bounce it if I have to, one of the lights. But I try not to even have to set them up if I don't need to. If I can use natural light that's available for it, because a lot of times the things you don't realize are you end up covering up so much of it with B-roll anyway, that we're spending so much time lighting an interview that's only going to be on screen for seconds at a time. And you need it to be good enough that it looks professional, but you don't need it to be consistent lighting, for one, because they're not going to see the 2 shots side to side, like back to back, because it's going to be split by other footage, or them walking and talking in a whole different area. So it's just like when you learn to do it and you can actually go on a shoot and take less days and do the same product in less time, and so it's less money, or you take home more money, honestly, like that's kind of the win. But it's having to get over yourself and wanting to, me getting over myself. I'm not saying you, like, I'm not trying to be harsh on you. Me getting over myself and chasing gear. Like, I used to just, all I would do is look at all the latest, greatest, newest gear. It's kind of like what I'm trying to get to with the RC world now. It's like, I don't have to have every new thing that comes out. Like, I'm so happy with my SCX24s. And like, there's new things coming out, and we're showing them because some people may want them. I actually really do like the Hobby Plus ones, and they're inexpensive for people, and they do probably out of the box way more than you can with an SCX24. but it's in the building and the, of the SCX24s that I actually, once you get them awesome, they're the best. But you do have to throw some stuff at these. So these are a little different, but it's in that being content with like the cameras I have. And I have a lot of cameras and I never sell them. That's one of my downfalls, but from Canon to Fuji to Sony to Panasonic, back to Sony. And yeah, I was just chasing it all, Black Magic, Red. I almost bought a Red and then realized that one, the workflow wasn't going to be conducive to getting enough work to pay for it, or even salary wise. Like, I can make more money with the smaller, lighter cameras that I can capture more with quickly. So yeah. Lens envy is one thing. I do a lot of renting now too. You can rent something for pretty cheap that you don't need. So extra cameras or that. But I would never do that for YouTube unless I'm going on like a shoot for one of the companies that want me to make a video for them, and we want to shoot a certain way. We'll rent certain lenses for that. But yeah, I mean, even I've got the Panasonic GH5s, which is what I do a lot of video on now. And I've got one of those big, the big old school style cameras too, still with the super zooms and all that. And it's very specific purpose bought for like filming races and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I do, and I have all that, and half the time I shoot everything on my iPhone, like I'm doing now. And I've got a whole streaming setup in the other studio with DSLRs and podcaster stuff, and I'm just with an iPad. So whatever gets you making content, that's what's helpful, man. But yeah. So, and I'm saying all that because I'm trying to have that mindset that I figured out in my work life, that sometimes less is more. And so that's why I'm starting to sell off some of my RCs, because I'm so overwhelmed by the amount of it that I can't even want to use some of it because it's too overwhelming. And what I mainly end up using are these things, these little ones. They make it easy to go out and shoot, or to film, to run and film and all of it, but to just get out and run, it's so easy. I can have chargers going right here, and everything. It's just made it, it's a different mindset. So and part of it too is the store, like that's taken up more of my time than I thought it would. And so getting out to run is a little different. But hey, Travis Paul, what's going on, my man? James Kettner wants my LMT. Hey, you don't want my LMT. My LMT is beat. Yeah, Cody, that's cool. You can talk to beating the snot out of people with crawlers, though. That's what I'm worried about. Travis Tracy, are you doing a chassis mount for pulling? I'm actually trying to build a axle mount. Let me see if I have one here. These are older ones, but my pullers and all that are upstairs from the thing still. But this was an original idea. Was just having a little hoop to go into, like this. The new one, however, is tapered like this, but instead of having the hole, it goes up here, and then you screw in a mount, so it's a little bit higher to give it more downward force, get a little higher than the part where the chain is, to have it give more downward force, but also lift the front of the sled a little. And then what this does, it mounts on the axle. It's your link riser, and so then your links go here. This is actually going to come up more and probably out a little more to get the links to not roll the axle quite a bit, as much as this design was doing. So the idea is it's going to put weight with the extra length down. It's pivoting on your axle then, and it's going to put the weight down on the axle. Plus, any of the front weight as it lifts the front end up is going to sit down on these rear tires too and just dig. So I was trying to do a shorter one that was up in here more and it tucked under the bumper more. And that's where it didn't have enough, because it's not pulling down on the suspension. It's right at the axle pivot. It wasn't giving enough that rear tire. And so in order to do it this way, it needs to have this like tail off it. And the reason that I'm doing it this way is because there's so many different chassis that people are running that I can't make something universal that attaches to a chassis. Also, Axial made it so that every single one of their bumper hinges is different on every single one of their SCX10 or 24s. So to even get around that and work around that, and they're different lengths. So chassis, like if you have a deadbolt versus a Gladiator, there's just too many variations, and I don't want to make 50 different types of mounts. So that's what we're testing to find out where and what makes for a decent downward pull. And then hopefully at some point I'll actually, once I get this designed, send this away. It probably doesn't need to be, because I mean we've been yanking on this thing like crazy with the puller, and 7 pounds and full hard pull on it, you know, initial hit, just whipping, and nothing's breaking, so it's probably strong enough. But I may try to get a machine somewhere, but for now 3D printing is working pretty awesome for them. And yeah, I'm gonna do more tests with them. I was trying to burn up one of my motors the other day, and I tried to hook up a 3S to the, but it won't do 3S on the V2 electronics. It flashes the lights. It's like overload, don't work. So it does mount off the rear diff. Where's one? So yeah, this one's pretty open to show. So you can see right here where your link mounts on there. It literally just replaces, there's screw throughs on your diff there that hold that link riser on, and it just swap out that link riser with this, and it just hangs it off the back. And then again, it'll have a little riser that comes up, and that's where it mounts in. It's under 2.5 inches off. It kind of puts it like it's tucked up behind a bumper, like it'd be a trailer hitch. So that's kind of the idea that I have. But you can see the tapering of it to give it that little bit of extra strength going down. But this also, on the front here, this part that I have, so when the weight does sit down on it, it actually presses this against the diff cover to help support it. So it's not going to be like a snap point. It'll actually have a stop point. So it'll only bend so far before it hits that diff cover. So that's why I groove that out right here to let it sit up against the diff cover. So there's a little bit of flex that it'll take before it hits, but that's the idea behind it. It also allows for different, if people have different width diff covers a little bit. I was doing it all based on my brass ones, but yeah, that's the idea. And like I said, it looks like Hack Fab is going to be making these sleds for us, probably out of aluminum. So that'll be cool. I don't know what they'll make it out of, actually. Well, I don't know that I'm going to get it made in aluminum. There's not probably enough people to make it worth the cost of making them that are going to buy it. I know a lot of people that are planning on designing their own and just making them. So a sand colored Defender would have been awesome. Man, you've been keeping busy, Travis? Racing your cars and stuff? Our baby Capras have been a good in-between for camping, taking skiing, small to pack, but we ran outside at the campground. Yeah, Dirt Burger, they're cool. And I have this to install in mine still. I'm just behind the 8 ball on things. There's so many projects. So this is the FureTech for that, I believe. Yeah, the FureTech and the specific motor that has the EC2 connector on it, the little ones already installed. So this is the direct, and I'll have these coming actually to my store soon as well. It's one of the other products I picked up to sell here stateside for people to have easy shipping. So once they're here, it'll be fast for you. It's taking a while for me to get them, but yeah. But these, if I do get them made out of aluminum, it'll probably be way down the pike when we find that they're really working long term for people, and that we're not going to change it up, or that somebody from NRC TPA says, no, you can't do that. You can't put them on the axles. It's not going to work with their leagues or whatever. So, oh, dude, you were up at Freestyle RC Raceway? That's awesome. Cody B. Lots of people are talking about the sleds. I had a buddy of mine that worked machining and all that in Detroit for many years reach out to me, and he's looked up all the parts and stuff, mainly the slider, where to get that. But I'd have to, I kind of want to, I mean, I can't copy their design. Like, it's just not me. So I'd have to figure out my own kind of way of making it work. And I know it's all gears, and all pull sleds for the most part work kind of similarly, but I'd want to engineer it a little bit differently. So it's not like, hey, you guys, aren't making them fast enough, I'm going to do my own. So, but in fact, I'd reached out to him. If nobody was going to do it, I was going to see about trying to just buy the design from him to make it happen, because I think it's super fun. Watching the 24 scales pull these and what they can actually pull is shocking. It's so cool to see that little thing just digging dirt and throwing it. So, but yeah, I'm trying to make it simple. I'm trying to make it so it's a quick install for people too, if they don't want to leave their truck set up that way and they want to crawl and then do some pulling, and then you could pretty much swap that out in about 10 minutes. So if there's like an intermission or whatever, you could literally install that hitch and run, and then put your other thing back on, and be good to go. It's quite easy. So I did it when we were there last night, and then I did it twice actually while I was at the shop last night. But yeah, the sled is for 124 scale, so it's being pulled. And just give me a second. Let's go. I don't have the sled, but I have my pull truck I can show. It's upstairs. How we get to and from the show. So this is mine. You can see the little tail that I'd made in there, and that did not work at all. It was terrible. It just did not make a good enough fulcrum for the weight. But then I have a Bronco as well, which needs to be tightened up a bit. But the weight box, and it's also got the little one. And we did pull with that, and it worked. It didn't bounce like the faster one because he's brushed. It can't pull as much. It probably could have pulled more, but you can see we actually strapped. The more weight we added, of course, to the car, the more it would pull. So I wouldn't do it this way for comping, but I would be willing to stick the other type of weights up on the inside, like the wheel weights. So that's a possibility. Hang that back up there. Yeah, the box in the front's a weight. So but yeah, so this one says the King on it. And then it's just quarters in it. So there's 24 quarters. That's why I call it the 24, 25. 25 being 25 cents. 24 being how many fit in here. And it put significant weight to the front. We're limiting the class to, oh man, it's 800 grams for this class. And this one's sitting at about 750 when you put a 3S battery in it. So it's currently just running a micro Komodo in there. I'm thinking about putting in a Godzilla. So we'll see. It's not really, I don't think, that much more kV. This is a 3450. That's 4,000 kV. So it'll give me some wheel speed, but I'll lose some torque. It's kind of a fine line. But now this one pulled, I think we said, I don't think we did the math right. So on Instagram, I said 7 pounds because that's what I was told. We told people how many plates we had on each side. And then they did the math, and it came out to being like 7 pounds with the sled weight. The sled weighs about 3 pounds, so it's about adding 4 pounds to it. Oh, I think it was 7. I forgot, just adding up the pounds. But the plate itself weighs 20 ounces. That's what I was accounting for when I was redoing the math. So yeah, I think that the weight was right because we had 14 per side, so 28 of the 2.2 ounces plus a 20 ounce plate plus a 45 ounce sled. So it was over 7 pounds that it was pulling. That little thing. It's crazy. Sorry, didn't mean to name drop. Did you see my sled? I didn't see your sled. C-channel and rods located in the hardware store. Cody said that we're going to tool and die. Sorry, I missed some of these comments when I was talking. Travis Tracy, I'm busy putting a TRX4 into an R1 cage. Oh, that's cool. Oh, Cody, I just heard you. Yeah, I've got the design files too. The only thing is they're not tapped. Do they have to be tapped or just go back into plastic? It might not need to be tapped. I think it actually does. Yeah, it needs to be tapped. So that would be the thing. The design isn't tapped. But yeah. And the threads are actually smaller than they should be. So I'd have to actually get the right sizing for the threads and all that. But because I do it small so that it'll actually thread in as it goes into them. But yeah. But yeah, Cody, that'd be cool, man. We can talk. So my coworker sent in the design and watch your videos. Yeah, man, we should definitely talk, Sled. Dang, dude, still grinding. Yeah, I didn't mean to be. I asked Siri to do all my math. Yeah. Well, we had somebody else over there doing it. I rock a King Sling with Monster Truck tires on it. Yep. Yeah, it's an LMT. The axles are LMT. Just buy the LMT wheels and tires, or ones that fit on it, and bam, you're good to go. LMT monster truck or King Sling monster truck. I actually have a video of it running as a monster truck on here. It looks really rad. And the King Sling now, the 4-seater or 3-seater, is actually a King Sling monster truck. So it looks a lot like that, which is amazing. So what's going on, Bruce Hughes? Yeah, so that's the basic design. I think the actual one is down in this bin, but we have all our, I mean, I have so many in here right now, all the different pullers, or not pullers, but crawlers. I actually make sure none of the batteries are plugged in. I don't mind them staying in the car as long as they're not plugged into anything. Here's the, I wanted to run this one. I ran out of time today. I did when I was up at Reaction buy this really cool associated Enduro 24 Ecto body. So I think this, I don't know what's going to go on. It might go on the Maz Designs cheat code. And then I got some of the Trio brass wheels. I'm hoping these bite better onto the Swampers that I love to run, because the NHX brass wheels slip. They don't love that. And I also got these Trail Kings to try. And I sure hope to God, is that what's on here? It is. All right. I already have 3 sets of Trail Kings. And I just bought another. I thought these were different than the ones I already had. Dope. That happened. Oh, and I brought some smaller weights from Reaction to drill out so that I can do 1-ounce increments. So I'm going to drill these out in the middle more and try to get them so they slide over the posts I have on the sled. So that these will allow us for the brushed ones to have different increments to go up if multiple people are making it to the end. It'll give us a little bit of fine tuning until we can knock somebody out, get a clear definitive winner. And I got these just because they looked super cool. Bead locks. They're not like heavy brass or anything, but sometimes it doesn't matter because they look super rad. So I've got a lot of work to do. I'm trying to see if that other pull. No, it is in here. Yep. Here we go. So this is it coming straight off the printer. Still kind of break all this excess off of here. It's one of those, just grab it and go. All this stuff off of here, and I can show you. Stuff's not coming off as easy as normal. But I broke the other one because we were trying to force fit it onto the Bronco with the bumper. Not really. The Bronco's bumper wasn't working, and we were trying to force it on, and I broke off one of the pieces. That ain't gonna work. So I'll show this one. So that's what I ended up with. So that was the final one that was on the gold truck that pulled 7. And it was actually like this when we did it, but that was the final design. It's got that little angled taper on the top too to kind of help stiffen it up a bit, but it didn't really flex at all. It worked pretty awesome. The only design difference I made from this one after I ran it the first time was I did raise this and I got rid of one of the holes because there was no way it was going to mount the link to. I was trying to have different options for people to mount their links, different spots, but I think I'm going to, for one, they got to be out here and up a little more, but yeah, so that's it. Travis Tracy, can I bring my SCX24 for pulling? 6x6. We might. I mean, 6x6 would be pretty cool. There's no rules for any of the classes yet, so it probably won't be in the pulling classes to start with. But I got a 6x6 I'd love to run. And there's several people that have been pulling them up, like the Atlases and different ones. It could be a fun class because they could definitely pull some stuff. Hey, what's going on, Brian P? Yeah, for sure, man. RC Amigos. Oh, I like those wheels. Yeah. I need the Swamp Kings. Yeah, I got the wrong ones. I thought I had the Swamp Kings and I needed the Trail Kings, but I already have the Trail Kings. I need the Swamp Kings. I don't think you've name dropped Travis Paul. You're all good. Travis Lynn, you're up still? All right, Cody, I'll get in touch with you. I'm still trying to fine tune it. It definitely needs to be stretched as one of the things that we found because of the this guy here, if people are trying to rock a stock truck and make it look cool still, this bump, it was just too short. So I got to bring it out just a quarter of an inch, something like that. But yeah, I'm still figuring it all out. We'll get it figured out one of these days. I'm new to it all. I'm normally just the guy with the camera in his hand. I don't know all this fancy design and stuff. Oh yeah, so here's the other one I was talking about. The Hiroyama that I switched out the tires on. So I gotta run this maybe tomorrow. The battery's in there. It's all plugged in. I gotta unplug it. Dang it. Only thing is, and I ordered these. I ordered them. But Furatech makes the extensions. That's the only thing I don't like about the Ultimate is the battery's plugged straight into the ESC. And on something like this, you can't, you don't want to be reaching into this cage every time you want to plug in the battery. You want to have a tail that you can reach up to and plug in and strap the excess up in here. It's, as you can see me even just trying to undo the battery now. It is sucky. So here we go. Watch me short it somehow. Pull the wire out. So now I'm just going to have to undo the whole battery and just pull that way. Sucky. My other one, I have a Lizard Pro in, and it has a tail, and it's awesome. This one. I feel like these should come with the little tail. Maybe that's how I can differentiate my Lizard Ultimates is sell them with that tail for people. Because the other reason is if you install this, depending on where it is in the car, you have to be able to reach the ESC from wherever your battery tray is. And if you put your ESC in the back and your battery up front, you ain't got the length to get to it like you used to. So it's the only thing that I would recommend for that Ultimate is getting the extension. But yeah. RC Amigos, hey dude, quick question. Not sure how you feel about light cuss words and comments. If it's light, it's fine. As long as it's not against somebody or whatever. Yeah, I don't get to even see those in here. The ones that are held, they don't show up for me to even allow through. Custom stretcher 6x6. Ultrano, yeah, man, that's where it's been. I've had 5 iterations of these, and the last one was the worst, the shortened one. But yeah, it was actually somebody else's suggestion to shorten it up, and I didn't think about the ramification. I just thought, oh yeah, why didn't I think about that? Because right from the get go, my goal was to get it out so it was behind the bumper, and I was like, oh yeah, we can just tuck it inside. Well, that just totally changed the pivot. So if you're not going to, if you connect up at the chassis, no matter where, even up, or yeah, the chassis, it'll pull down on that onto the axle, no matter where that there's that weight shift. But if you're straight on the axle, you don't get that same weight shift, so it's all good. Will the Komodo Outrunner fit the TRX tranny? The big Komodo? No. No. The Mini does. The new Mini Komodo, that's what they're selling it for. Or Micro. Sorry. Because of the way that they've got these big old drive shaft pieces with the rubber around it, it would totally hit that. Or it'd be very close. Maybe not. But I don't think even with the way the body snaps down, I think it would rub. So if you're trying to run stock bodies. But these micros work awesome in here. And they sell it with the mount to fit up to the transmission. It's fantastic. I have them on order. Yeah. No, it's fine, Cody. I just don't see it because of I'm using StreamYard to view. Normally, if I was in YouTube, I'd see them and just say approve. But yeah. Yeah, put a switch in. That's a good idea, James. The problem with these batteries is if they're connected to anything, even your charger, and you're not charging them, they drain. So like I was charging the 3S and I stopped it because I didn't want to have it charging when I wasn't around. And I didn't get back to it. I came back 3 days later and the battery wouldn't even be recognized by the charger because it had drained below down to like 1 point some volts. And I'm like, oh crap. And it was 3S, so I couldn't use like the bump charge off of the little wall charger that they give with these. So if you ever get too low on your battery power, they'll charge if you use the balance lead charger, but a smart charger will not allow you to do it because it's not a high enough voltage to start from, and it sucks. So you got to find a way to put a little bump charge on them. Yeah, YouTube is getting a little crazy with it. They've had a little revolt against them though about the whole swearing thing too, because they were demonetizing. But I don't think they're gonna get the comments too much because not the content. Travis Lynn has all metal transmission coming for his. Very nice. My one has a metal transmission. The stock one does not. The brushed. So, it wasn't hanging right on the wall. But these ones are pretty good too. I still like these tires, these mudslingers. They're grippy. But the Scrambler is my go-to. Just want to try something else. I wonder about those Trail Kings for pulling. It's a pretty meaty tire. If I saw some with some Reaction RC compound, we'll call it, might be good. Some SXT tire juice. Hello, but I can say I'm watching from my throne making chocolate squirrels. Nice. Very good. You can say that, and it will not demonetize anything. Yeah, I was doing the charge on NIM, but I do most of mine through the smart charger, and the Spectrum smart charger wasn't doing it. That's when I pulled out the Gens Ace the other night, and I put a bump on. I got enough bump that then it would charge as a LiPo, not using the balance lead, and it was doing it like 0.1 amps. Super slow charging it to try and get it back up, I guess. But yeah, I'll get it there. It's got enough on it now that I can. And I have some balance lead chargers for 3S somewhere from the old V-Car China trucks and stuff. That's what they came with, was a USB charger for big 5,000 milliamp hour 3S batteries. So craziness. Anyway, I should end this live. I should really work on this swap over, but I don't know that I'm going to tonight. Now it's too late. Trench King is the name from Little Guy Racing Parts. Yeah. I like a lot of what they're doing. That's for sure. Sometimes I feel like they have, or companies, not they, companies have like a certain people that buy from them, and then once they have their stuff, it's just like they release something new so that they'll buy more from them. And I guess it's business, right? I get it. But it's like you buy it and it's not any better, or it's worse, but it's something new. And so people just keep trying it all. And I've gotten to the point where I'm like, you really have to convince me to get away from the scramblers because they just work. Oh, your job title? I didn't even see it. Yeah. So, I mean, they keep coming out, they keep dropping new tires and whatever. And it's cool because they're a new company and they don't have that many to start from. So I'm not really talking about Little Guy Racing Parts, but there's some other ones. They're just reminding me of it. But yeah, he's cool. They have a lot of good stuff, though. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Jason. Yeah, I am going to wrap, guys. Thanks for everything. Cody, I'll talk to you. Hopefully, I'll see you Thursday. I'm planning to be there comping Thursday. I told Jeff I'm not bringing the pull sled this time. It's too hard. I was trying to get everything dialed in on this past Thursday, and so I wasn't comping. But then there's so many people there with the 24s, and like, hey, can I try pulling it? That I was not getting to do some of the testing because we have to remove weights for them to test it or add weights and then try and get back to where we were for testing. And so I'm just going to try and find a different time when it's a little bit slower to do all that. And so I'm just going to focus on having fun and comp and bring my little green truck that can, wherever it is down there, and my swampers, and with hopefully I'll have these new Trio wheels on with flubber stuffers in them and the scramblers on them, and be good to go. Definitely ended up racing Mini Z's. Now, is Mini Z racing going to be on Friday? Because that's what I was told. Because I was trying to get up there to see Mini Z racing before I go. I'm Italian. I told Jeff earlier, Italians need to say goodbye like 10 times. We keep going on. If you're still there. Well, there can be people around, Jeff. It's just whatever. Yep, Fridays. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I want to get up I got to get my mini Z's working again, though. I let my kids run them in the house at the last place during winter, or it's really muddy in the back. And so we did indoor, and they just slammed them into the walls, like the baseboards, and just those hard bodies did not take it well. And I bought a replacement body. I just haven't put it together. So yeah, Monday might work, Jeff. But I mean, I could do it on any day that's just not a comp day when I'm not focused on that. That's all. I don't mind doing it while you're open. You need time off and days off. Anyway, we'll see you guys. It's time for real. Peace. Have fun RCing. Be positive, and have a great night, guys.